can say that we didn't discuss about it having kids at all. I hope everything will go fine.
Now, if Sumit will adopt a kid,
I can adopt or I can do surrogacy. We can't have children together. I cannot even just even think about it.
I'll just feel better, I guess, about the whole thing.
Maybe if I can give somebody a good life.
If you would, have children in the future.
They want me to have a secure future and a kid. It's good. We are happy together and I hope that things will stay like that.
Jenny and Sumit were already not seeing eye to eye on a lot of things, but then things truly came crashing down around them when Sumit admitted that, guys, he wanted to have kids with Jenny, and you will never believe what else he revealed. In a recent episode of 90 Day Fiancé, Sumit let it slip that he wanted to have kids with Jenny, and he admitted this to his friend Rohit, and honestly, it was just brutal because what Sumit said about all of this really made me feel like his and Jenny's relationship is doomed. So Sumit seems to think that he and Jenny can have kids together, which is completely bizarre given their age difference and everything, and his reasoning about this whole thing was just pretty unbelievable. In his conversation with Rohit, Sumit opened up about Jenny's desire to move to America, and it's become really clear that she's just not happy in India and she's lonely, there as is, and it doesn't help that Sumit has been working a lot, and he's apparently doing this so that they can have a good life in India and don't have to move to the US. But the thing is that it isn't actually making Jenny want to stay in India because it's just contributing to her general loneliness and unhappiness, which is making her want to move back even more. And Sumit told Rohit that Jenny thought that since his parents weren't accepting of their relationship, they should just move to the US, and Rohit obviously didn't think this was a good idea, and he pointed out that this would be a huge move that would probably come with a lot of uncertainties, and Sumit has a job in India and he makes money there, and his friends and family are all there too. So naturally, Rohit didn't think that abandoning all that would be the best step for his friend, which I completely get, and he was probably just looking out for his friend. And I don't think it's really fair that Jenny basically had to leave everyone and everything behind when she moved to India, but there's really not a clear compromise that would suit them both here that I can think of, since neither of them really wants to live in the other one's country. And as Sumit's friend, I can totally see what Rohit was getting at, especially when he then asked Sumit if he was actually willing to move to the US and do that for Jenny, because up until that point it wasn't really clear how Sumit actually felt about all this. But I feel like we all knew where this was going, and Sumit said that he wasn't actually willing to do that, and he even took it as far as to say that he couldn't even think about it. And Sumit said that he didn't think that he could ever live a peaceful life in the US without thinking about his parents, but then, out of nowhere he dropped the thing about wanting to have kids, and the conversation got even more insane from there, because Sumit basically said that what was stopping him from moving was that he might want to have kids in the future. And the moment he said that, Rohit was honestly pretty hilarious, because Rohit's reaction was so accurate. He looked extremely shocked. Like, to him, it was pretty much jaw-dropping news, and I completely understand where that came from, because Sumit was just talking about not wanting to move to the US because of his job and his parents, and it really felt like this kids thing came out of nowhere. He just said it just like that. But it got even more insane after that, because Sumit at least seems to be aware that he and Jenny are probably not going to have biological kids. Jenny is obviously much older than Sumit, so that's just not a realistic option. But despite that, Sumit still thinks that having kids is a possibility for them, and he said that they could adopt or use a surrogate to have kids together. And then he added that his parents would want him to have a secure future and kids, and that this is one of the biggest reasons why he didn't think he could actually move to the US. But there's honestly just so much about this that doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, first of all, it really seemed to me like Sumit's main reason for wanting to have kids is that his parents would want him to have kids, and this has pretty much been a reoccurring issue in Sumit and Jenny's relationship. Sumit has a really close relationship with his parents, and he clearly cares a lot about their approval, which he doesn't really have right now since he married Jenny, and they aren't exactly happy about that. And everything that Sumit says or does seems to be about his parents, and he doesn't want to move to America because of his parents. He wants to have kids because it's what his parents would want for him, and it's just kind of bizarre, especially since I don't don't really think that his parents would be happy with his adoption or surrogacy solution anyway. They seem so traditional, and they're already not happy about Sumit and Jenny's relationship, so I kind of doubt that they would want Sumit to adopt his kid. So in an ideal world, they would probably want Sumit to marry someone else and have biological kids with her. And I mean, maybe they could accept the surrogacy thing, because at least the kid would have Sumit's DNA, but either way, there's still a pretty huge issue with that. And that's, that I don't think that there's any way Jenny would actually go for it. And this is the biggest reason why I think their relationship is just doomed, because Jenny doesn't want kids. I mean, she's been pretty clear about the life she wants for herself right now. And as someone on Reddit pointed out, you guys, Jenny is retired. She doesn't even want to keep the house clean. So why would Sumit think that she would want to have kids? There's just no way that she would ever go for that. And Sumit honestly seems really delusional. And though I do think he might have an inkling about how this might go over with Jenny, because when Rohit questioned Sumit about this whole kids thing, he actually admitted that he wasn't sure if Jenny wanted to have kids or not, and the reason for this was honestly insane. So Sumit admitted that he and Jenny have never talked about this topic at all. And I mean, these two are married, and Jenny moved to India to be with him, and you're telling me that they never once had a conversation about something this important? And honestly, you guys, it's like I have no idea what these two are even doing. It's clear that Sumit really needs to talk to Jenny about all this, and Rohit even pointed that out. And he said that they had to discuss this with Jenny, which is true. And I mean, he can't just decide not to move to the US and to have kids without telling his literal wife. And I mean, it's just so insane, and I really don't know how this conversation is going to go between them, but I bet that once Sumit brings this up, Jenny is not going to be happy about it, and there's no way that she'll say yes to staying in India and having kids. I honestly think it's kind of funny this situation that these two are in, because a lot of the time people talk about how many of the 90 Fiancé couples are only in it for a green card, but this is clearly is not the case with Sumit and Jenny. I mean, Sumit, he really doesn't want to move to the US, and it really seems like his feelings for Jenny are genuine, which is a shame since they are just so incompatible, and I really don't see how their relationship could actually ever work out, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. But anyways, what do you guys think? Were you shocked when Sumit admitted that he wanted to have kids with Jenny? And do you think she'd be open to this? So let me know in the comments down below.